I'm using my phone now because I'm so sick of StreamYard. I don't know what to do. And them last few videos probably was going in and out. I do appreciate my new subscribers. I really do. Just bear with me. I'm not tech savvy. And it just get on my nerves and just make me so upset. But now I'm getting back to my serious topics now. We dealing with unions, and I know a lot of people didn't really like that, but I like to finish everything that I have that I wanted to talk about. So the unions are not as strong as they are, and as we look at what's going on now, shoot, Donald Trump is suing the unions. They in court right now about the layoffs and firings that he has done, and he probably gonna win. We looking at the weekend. Then we had all this issue for the last 4 years with these migrants walking through the jungle, coming over here. Immigration has weakened the unions. There's been a number of factors of things that has happened. So let's get into it. This article, why are unions dying? In part due to immigration. And people say, well, you know, uh, Gina, we have to be, no, there's laws that's in the Constitution that you need to do it the right way. You don't walk across the jungle. You don't go through 9 ports of entry and then come to another country and commit crime and then don't know the language or the customs and run amok, and we the taxpayers supposed to take care of you. We can't go anywhere to any country where what was done in the United States will happen in another country. And flying your flag, protesting with visas, this is unreal. And these rogue judges is awful. But it's all gonna come to an end. Babylon is falling. So let's get into this. Immigration is contributing to the ongoing collapse of America's labor unions. According to a recent study from the Libertarian Cato Institute, the share of employed Americans who were members of a union went from 30% to 11% between 1980 and 2020. And per Cato Institute, immigrants were responsible for nearly 30% of that decline. So yeah, y'all keep praising the migrants. We found this happens because immigrants have a lower preference for unionization, and because immigrants increase diversity in the workforce, that in turn decreases solidarity among workers and raises the transaction cost of forming unions, conclude the authors. I'm rebooting my laptop. Cato scholars surely view this trend as a positive good. The nation's largest self-described libertarian think tank favors few things more than the demise of America's labor unions and an unregulated supply of cheap labor for businesses. Yet those of us who care about American workers and believe in the power of unions should pay close attention to their findings. But a Cato study provides more empirical proof of a phenomenon that ordinary working Americans have experienced firsthand for decades. As more foreign workers flood the labor market that y'all so gung-ho want to feed, take care of them, send their kids to school, free medical, Mortgages, homes on the taxpayer dime. A phenomenon that ordinary working Americans have experienced firsthand for decades. As more foreign workers flood the labor market, the bargaining power of the existing world workers erodes. Wages stagnate and the doors of opportunity slam shut. It's why historically union organizers view high level of immigration, both legal and illegal, and I'm talking about illegal, as a threat to their members, not out of xenophobia, but simply out of an understanding of the law, supply, and demand. When labor markets are tight, employers must offer better pay and benefits to attract and retain workers, meaning unions can negotiate from a position of leverage. When labor markets are loose, by contrast, employers can hold wages and benefits flat or even cut them and still fill positions with desperate employees who are willing to take any job they can find. As Harvard economist and immigration expert George Borges wrote in Politico in 2016, immigration redistributes wealth from those who compete with immigrants to those who use immigrants, from the employee to the employer, resulting in wealth redistribution from the native losers to the native winners. That's enormous. Roughly $500 billion a year. So y'all keep embracing them, okay? You won't have a job nor a union. Along with AI. It should not be surprising that the American Federation of Labor, one of the nation's oldest, most powerful unions, prior to its 1955 merger with the Congress of Industrial Organizations to create the AFL-CIO, strongly supported the Immigration Act of 1924, which slashed the annual number of foreign arrivals from over 1 million a year in the 1900s and 1910s to just tens of thousands a year by the 1930s. You cannot make this up. Labor leader and civil rights activist A. Philip Randolph applauded the legislation. He actually called for cutting immigration to zero to help workers, especially Black Americans. Y'all keep wanting these people to come in here illegally. Wow. Unsurprisingly, the era from the end of the Great Depression in the 1930s until after the 1965 Immigration Act was passed saw a great expansion of wages and benefits for workers while immigration was limited. A few generations later, United Farm Workers leader Cesar Chavez also fiercely opposed illegal immigration and pressed for increased deportations to prevent corporate firms from using migrants as scabs to break union strikes. Asylum seekers watched others cross the Rio Grande into Brownsville, Texas, the day after Title 42 had been expected to be lifted, but now the decision has been postponed. This is what's going on. Only very recently have unions flip-flopped to their current support of high levels of immigration. As the Cato study notes, in 2000, the AFL-CIO dropped its support for increasing enforcement against illegal immigrants, supported an amnesty for them, and tentatively endorsed increasing legal immigration. Union leaders presumably viewed new arrivals as potential new recruits and figured that the increased dues would outweigh any harm done to rank and file members. That logic is dubious, as the rest of the study proves. The authors note that immigrants have always been less likely to join unions than native born Americans, 33% less likely over the past 2.5 decades, to be specific. New arrivals are also less likely to feel solidarity with native born Americans, regardless of their race, national origin, Cato notes. That's not a knock on immigrants, it's just human nature. Social science research, along with basic common sense, indicates that people who are new to a community won't have the same level of affinity for other members of the community as people whose families have been here for generations. And that's a fact. In addition to the weakening unions, high levels of immigration drive down American wages. Facts. As Borges explains, wage trends over the past half century suggest that 10% increase in the number of workers with a particular set of skills probably lowers the wage of that group by at least 3%. The net effort, Borges explains, is to transfer money that workers would have earned to corporate bottom lines. It doesn't have to be this way. Humanly reducing immigration levels will help give American workers more bargaining power. Even the libertarians at the Cato Institute admit that. And there you have it. Oh, I wanted to show this from. There you have it. Now, as it relates to AI, when it comes to unions, public sentiment, this is another study that was done as it relates to artificial intelligence. Public sentiment echoes this call. Overall union favorability is at the highest it's been in half a century. Working people know giant corporations and tech firms cannot be trusted to self regulate this revolutionary technology. Employers are currently deploying increasingly sophisticated AI enhanced technologies without workers' consent in order to hire, monitor, evaluate, discipline, and even fire workers. This is just the beginning. The New York Times reports that nearly half of all jobs will be exposed to some form of AI automation that will disrupt and displace workers in the coming years. Of those who will see their jobs erased in the next 10 years, nearly 80% could make less than $38,000 annually. Y'all better wake up. Without protections, working women and people of color will experience the worst social and economic outcomes of this technology. What? But y'all go and help y'all go help management and tell them everything, how to everything. And you're gonna be without a job. In order to protect workers' job quality, safety, and rights, working people must come together. Let me see. Labor unions are the most powerful tool workers have to demand inclusion. Labor unions do not oppose AI. AI has the potential to unleash prosperity that improves working conditions and lifts us all up. But if left unchecked in the hands of corporate profiteers, AI will increase economic inequality, curtail our rights, and undermine our democracy. I hate hearing that bullshit about democracy. We want to have a voice to how this technology is designed and implemented to improve workers' job quality and agency, not undermine it. Workers don't just adjust to technology. Through our expertise, we make it better, safer, fair, and more efficient. because workers are the experts when it comes to getting the job done well. And this is let me see, this video is not gonna be long at all because I'm gonna make a part 3. Because y'all really weren't interested about the unions. No way, didn't nobody, but I find it interesting anyway, even if I gotta talk to myself. Okay, now, so, oh, where's my pen at? Hey, where's my pen? Oh, so I can take this down off of here. What is this video? Now, this was what was gonna happen. This is from October.
News channel. In today's news, EU ministers met this week to discuss innovation.
That ain't it. It's this one. This is Anton Daniels. I love him.
We're only talking about how much will it. I do like electric cars, but I think they charge like $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 for that. $70,000, $80,000, $90,000.
It is an understatement to say that H1 2024 results were disappointing and humbling.
The dealer body, and evidently the UAW as well, believes we're on a bad track that was all self-inflicted.
On September 30th, 2024, the company slashed its forecasts for full-year profitability and cash flow. The stock plunged nearly 13% by closing.
There is mounting pressure on Stellantis' CEO and calls for him to step down.
So, how did Stellantis get to this place, and can it recover?
That right there is so funny. I was talking to a guy as I was coming out of Home Depot, and he noticed me, and he was telling me that he actually worked there. So a lot of people don't know that Chrysler. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of history. Chrysler basically was partnered with or bought by Daimler, right? So Mercedes and all of that, eventually they spun them off. They sold them over there.
Right.
And then Stellantis wound up picking up Chrysler, which also encompasses Dodge and Ram, okay? That is in Auburn Hills. Auburn Hills is a suburb of Detroit. It is in Metro Detroit. It is not a Detroit automaker. It is a Michigan automaker. That is the headquarters. It's still got the Chrysler sign that's at the top, okay? The interesting thing about that is that I was talking to the guy that was at Home Depot, and he was telling me that he worked in that building, and he said it is a very, very, very hostile workplace. He said you can work in that building and never see people that's over there or over here or over there and so on and so forth, and that, you know, it's segmented and all of that. All of those people that work in that headquarters, a lot of them are already laid off, and they letting them go. I believe that Chrysler, if somebody doesn't buy it from Stellantis, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Dodge, is all going kaboosh. It is going to be 3 American automakers, not 4. Now, the 4th one became Tesla. Tesla's doing really well. They got the best margins. I believe it's only going to be Ford, General Motors, and Tesla. I believe that within a few years, I think that Chrysler is going to completely go out of business, but let's listen to it.
Check out these charts. There's
That's why I'm buying
Stellantis'
the Dodge,
financial results for the first
Charger,
half of
or the
2024.
Challenger.
The stock's full-year performance as of early October. Shares have fallen from a high of $29.51 in March to just above $13. And it's mostly due to poor U.S. sales of its American brands. It isn't the only automaker going through tough times, but it is one that has lost significant market share to its rivals over the last 3 years.
They can't keep
in September,
the V8
several officers
because
of
of
Stellantis' National Dealer
requirements in order
Council
to
sent
switch
an
over to
open
more-
letter to the
more
company
fuel efficient
accusing management of
and
being
less
behind the
emissions going into
troubles.
the air. They can't keep
Dave
the V8.
Kelleher is a Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Chrysler dealer in Pennsylvania. 3 years ago, dealers like Kelleher were earning profits of about 4.5% of sales, which is strong for the industry. The benchmark is 4%. But now Kelleher says the average is less than 1%.
That's caustic. We have 900
The dealers
dealers
are
in the
scared,
country that
too.
are actually losing money, and a bunch that are really close to it.
In the same time period, the values of those dealerships have plummeted from 5 to 5.5 times earnings to 1 to 2 times,
Yup.
depending on the dealership's location. Kelleher is selling 100 cars a month, whereas he used to sell about 185. As of mid-September, he had 473 cars on his lot, collectively worth about $27 million. Bear in mind, dealers buy their cars directly from the automaker. Kelleher has been selling these cars his entire career and has seen the ups and downs. This time, he says the troubles are of Stellantis' own making.
Dealer morale is at low. Corporate morale is at an all-time low. So I would suggest that this company, I don't know what their end plan is, because they certainly don't tell us. But
If you guys work at Stellantis,
Yeah, I'm gonna let that
Dodge,
play.
or anything like that, I don't care if you work in a plant. The only thing that they're gonna be able to do is import.
North America operations were, highly profitable and kind of seen as a little bit of a cash cow. Maybe the idea was it could run itself with that much influence, but it still needed support.
Stellantis has only existed for about 3.5 years. It was created out of a merger of two major automakers, France's Group PSA, sometimes known as Peugeot, and Fiat Chrysler, which was itself a merger of two other companies, the Italian maker Fiat and the American Chrysler, a company with a long and tumultuous history.
Chrysler has always been the weakest of the three major
Because they don't put
producers
no products in there. They
in the
only
United
had the
States.
300 in the
It had the
Pacific.
smallest market
I'm gonna
share
let that
of
play.
the
I'm
Detroit
hungry.
Three, the three major automakers based out of Detroit, Michigan. Here's what volumes looked like for the Detroit Three in 2007, 1 year before the financial crisis. By 2009, Chrysler and GM both went bankrupt.
Chrysler will file for bankruptcy after failing to reach a deal with some of its debt holders.
Then came the merger with Fiat.
The continuity of Chrysler was at risk. So whether you like this decision or not, it is the only path that kept Chrysler alive.
It's gone through certainly more than one near-death experience in my lifetime, and it's a testament really to the brains and work ethic of the people at the company that have really pushed Chrysler back to the brink each time.
A revival followed under the leadership of former FCA CEO, the late Sergio Marchionne,
They got him
whose
about it.
turnaround at Chrysler was at times considered miraculous and at others marred by controversy.
he went in and he understood that he needed to make these brands like superstars. So he went into the engineering and he built the entire product portfolio. He found these people that really were terrific, like a Tim Kuniskis, for example, who took Dodge brand and just made Dodge brand vibrant again.
No, I don't think that it was him. I think it was Ralph. Was it Ralph Giles? Ralph Giles? Tim Kuniskis, he the person that they now have put in charge of Chrysler now.
Fiat Chrysler merging with European automaker Peugeot to create the fourth largest automaker in the world.
Peugeot had a strong presence in Europe. The company had already bought GM's Opel and Vauxhall brands. In some sense, it seemed like a natural fit.
The two companies in that sense were already very accustomed to co-developing products together. They knew each other's cultures already because they've been in heavy collaboration for, since the 80s on those commercial vehicles. So culturally, it made sense.
But there was also the opportunity to cut costs and save billions of dollars through synergies, such as sharing parts and platforms. This could also reduce the burden of investing in extremely expensive new technologies like EVs, automated driving, and software. And of course, pay money out to shareholders.
And at first, the market was quite doubtful whether Stellantis could pull off the $5 billion in synergies between the two companies that they had announced.
Jeremy Rogers says, Anton, are you still getting a Cybertruck? I don't know. It's so many different cars that I want, and there's so many cars that I got on order. I don't know if it makes sense. I will say that now they got out like the non-founder series. I don't know.
I'm gonna let that go. That was interesting about Stellantis. Also, December 1st. How long? Oh, it's got 24 minutes. Let's see what I got. But anyway, Okay, here we go. So in December, Amazon had a strike on Black Friday. The protest has been dubbed "Make Amazon Pay" by a workers' union. Amazon workers' Black Friday strike could impact the consumers. The worldwide protest organized by UNI Global Union are targeting one of the biggest shopping weekends of the year. That was smart. Workers for the largest online retailer in the world went on strike in December. Amazon employees have begun protesting with demonstrations planned in more than 20 countries over labor abuses, and they say Amazon is really hard. When I do the flex driver, and when I go in there, it is a harsh working, but it is. It is. But they went on over labor abuses, environmental degradation, and threats to democracy, according to UNI Global Union and Progressive International, a Switzerland-based global labor union. Demonstrators are calling for increased wages, improved working conditions, and for employees to be permitted to unionize. Dubbed the Make Amazon Pay Days of Resistance, the strike was scheduled during Black Friday through that Cyber Monday. Protests can be expected in major cities in the United States, Germany, the United Kingdom, Japan, India, Brazil, and more. The strike could lead to, well, it did lead to delays in deliveries for customers. It did. Unions and allied groups around the world are planning to participate to the UNI global strike. Thousands of workers in German cities of Graben, Dortmund, and Bad Hersfeld, they also participated. In addition to hundreds in New Delphi, that's in India, wow, were demonstrating to demand their treatment following the mistreatment of workers during a heat wave in July, the union said. The Association for Taxation of Financial Transactions and Citizens Action will hold protests in France, and garment workers will also take to the streets in Bangladesh, the union said. Wow. This year makes the 5th annual Make Amazon Pay demonstration, which aims to hold Amazon accountable around the world by targeting its busy shopping season. In 2023, Amazon represented 18% of the worldwide Black Friday sales, with more than $170 billion. Amazon's relentless pursuit of profit comes at a cost to workers, the environment, and democracy. Bezos' workers company has spent millions to stop workers from organizing. But the strikes and protests happening around the world show that workers' desire justice for union representation can't be stopped. We stand united in demanding that Amazon treat its workers fairly, respect fundamental rights, and stop undermining the systems meant to protect us all. Wow. Amazon defended its treatment of workers in a statement, saying this group is being intentionally misleading and continues to promote a false narrative. The fact is, Amazon, we provide great pay, great benefits, great opportunities, all from day one. We've created more than 1.5 million jobs around the world and counting. We provide a modern, safe, and engaging workplace, whether you work in the office or at one of our operation buildings. The company announced earlier a $2.2 billion investment to increase pay for fulfillment, and they did. They went from $21 up to $23. And transportation employees in the U.S. As a result, the average base wage for employees is now $22 per hour, and the average total compensation more than $29 per hour when the value of their elected benefits is factored in. So unions are still important. Comprehensive benefits for those employees that began on the first day of employment include health, vision, dental insurance, a 401k with 50% company match, up to 20 weeks paid leave, which includes 14 weeks of pregnancy-related disability leave and 6 weeks of parental leave. Amazon's Career Choice Program, which prepays college tuition. And that ain't bad now. An early statement to ABC News says, Amazon said, while we're always listening and looking at ways to improve, we remain proud of our competitive pay, comprehensive benefits, and engaging, safe work experience we provide our teams. Amazon workers have been outspoken in recent years about workers' rights, especially during the pandemic, which increased the number of online orders. E-commerce sales in the U.S. increased by $244 billion, or 43%, during the pandemic. In 2022, a worker-led independent group led the first ever union at the company, unionizing 6,000 employees in the warehouse in Staten Island in New York. While subsequent attempts at facilities in Alabama and New York have failed, efforts have continued. In June 2023, nearly 2,000 Amazon workers organized a walkout after a mandate to return to the office was issued. I know how that feels. In Kentucky, Amazon employees who spoke to ABC News alleged that the company was leading a union-busting campaign to discourage employees from organizing. See? Amazon told ABC News last year that the disciplinary action taken by the company at the Amazon facility in Kentucky came in response to infractions of company policy. In 2022 report, the United Nations International Labor Organization found that post-pandemic inflation and the rising cost of living have been decreasing the value of those jobs. Amazon is everywhere, but so are we. By uniting our movements across borders, we can not only force Amazon to change its ways, but by the foundations of the world that prioritize human dignity, not just Bezos' bank balance. I thought that was interesting. Oh, let me take that off. Where's my thing? All right, that's done. What do I say? I said December what? 4th. I ain't got no. What is it? Oh, Okay, well, I can't find. Oh, Lord, see, I can't see at night. Okay, I'm just gonna do some videos. I'm gonna be done. Where I'm going to 12:20. Oh shit, where am I at? I don't know where I'm at. Oh shit, I know where I'm at now. Oh Lord, it didn't stop, did it? Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I like that K-Fly video. My last couple of videos was going in and out because of this stupid. I'm using my phone now due to StreamYard. And I ain't tech savvy, so shit. 12:23. Stuff don't never, it just don't never, just shoot me dead, for real. Because normally I'm working with two phones where I can go in and out, pull the stuff up like this. Well, I'm using my phone now. Actually, the phone seemed to be clearer than the damn laptop. So I did K-Fly. I'm gonna do Tay-K, because I'm watching his trial now. It's taking forever. Hey y'all, this about unions. Check out that K-Flop video. I think that was good. And the one I did on, that Angie Stone is real good, but my phone kept going in and out. Just pissed me off with StreamYard. Y'all check out that Angie Stone. That was good. And then I did something else. Because this one on unions. The next one I do gonna be on that damn Fonnie Willis. Oh, here we go.
Do you know people sleeping in cars? I do. I've spoken
This
to
is
many
Amazon
folks here, even
worker.
from different DSPs that sleep in their cars. Some of them can't afford to really rent a place, a studio. They can't even afford to rent a closet here in New York City. It's too expensive. Yet we're expected to be happy with what, Chick-fil-A that they gave us.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up. Here you have drivers coming out and the striking workers giving them hell for basically breaking the line, breaking the strike. What they call scabs that are still working and crossing the picket line. And they have a whole lot of police out here. A whole lot of police out here to protect those drivers. So how long you been at Amazon? And tell me about this momentum and energy out here.
Yeah, it's pretty great, man. It's a lot of support. I've been here for a year now, since October. And, I was really liking the job, but at the same time, the pay is what's really killing me right now. Like, if it could be a little higher, that would be great. Because, when you hear about, like, UPS and they're doing their contract and they're doing their thing, people working there for a while making six figures, that's great. And you just want a piece of that cake, too,
And for you, I was being told, $22 an hour, but that's not going to get you that far in New York City.
No.
And there's people who have to work other jobs. And he was saying about your story. Share your personal story.
On the side, I do Uber, sometimes after work, but on my days off, I just got my moped, so, I'm using that now. But before I did it on my bicycle, man, I was pedaling all over the city,
How do you do that after a 10-hour shift? You got the energy after driving 10 hours and delivering over 200 packages?
You just look like you got a lot of motivation. You look at your pockets and you're just like, yo, nothing in there, so I got to do something, man. That's just how it is. But yeah, like it's fun for me at the same time, but it's a lot of work. I just gotta, do what I gotta do, because at the end of the day, I'm responsible for putting food on the table for myself.
And for you, can you talk about the labor of being a driver? Because people were talking about, you bending and
the bending, especially, with the job, the way it's set up, is like you gotta reach into these bags.
Yeah, but I just wanted to show partly of that. I don't see that. I think I'm about to end this. Oh no. Let me see if I can find that. There's something interesting.
Bosses are firing Gen Z workers in record time, and there's a reason why. In fact, there's a lot of reasons, and in this video, I'm going to cover what they are. And while we're at it, let's look at a few Gen Z case studies to see exactly how they behave in the workplace. But before we get into that, if you're interested in more career content just like this directly from a corporate recruiter, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And you also want to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content. And I'd like to thank today's sponsor.
Okay, let me just move past that.
So the headline reads, 1 in 6 companies are hesitant to hire recent college graduates. Intelligent.com back in August did a survey of 966 business leaders who were involved in hiring decisions at their companies, and they were asking them about their attitudes towards recent college graduates and their hires. In other words, the Gen Z workforce that they've just recently hired. And it was really interesting what they found, because 75% of the companies reported that they had indeed hired some Gen Z, and somewhat shockingly, 6 out of 10 admitted that they had fired a recent college graduate in the same year that they hired them. And the survey gives a lot of detailed reasons why, and we'll get into them in just a second.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you that Gen Zs don't want to work. I wonder if this is it. I got to be this one. Let's see.
For all my Cisco people out there, we're going to be seeing some pretty fat layoffs right now. You could blame the feds, you could blame the companies, but at the end of the day, we're going to be seeing a very high interest rate environment in 2025, which means Over 3 years of high interest rates, now we're finally seeing the consequences. With Cisco, one of the biggest tech companies in Silicon Valley, laying off fat amounts of employees. I mean, just in 2024, they've laid off thousands of workers, and this is just the beginning because we're also seeing massive layoffs happening in the Google manager positions and also humongous real estate reductions from Google, like One Market Plaza and 300,000 square foot of space is gone. We are seeing tech layoffs across the board. This isn't just a Cisco thing. This isn't just an IBM thing. This is a general, nationwide, even global layoff from a lot of these American firms. The bigger the firm, the more layoffs they are. And Cisco is already laying an enormous amount of people. I mean, look at this, a second 2024 layoff, 56,000 jobs cut. They're shifting a massive focus into artificial intelligence growth. And ever since the introduction of Sam Altman's OpenAI and ChatGPT, this is the type of scene that we're seeing. Humongous layoffs, a ton of people losing their jobs, and things are only going to get worse. When you have like 4,000 employees that got laid off in February of 2024, and now another 5,600 people being laid off, over 10,000 people have lost.
Things about to get tight. That's all I got to say. And are the unions doing what they need to do? But that was really interesting as far as how immigration hurts not only black workers, but it hurts the union as well. And y'all keep wanting these illegals. All right, well, you're going to be without a job. Like, share, subscribe. Check out them that K-Fly video. Oh, my Yellow Beezy video. And, especially that Angie song. See